Jake Daniels, Blackpool striker, has become the first active professional male footballer in England to come out as gay in over 30 years. The 17-year-old said that he was inspired by the examples of Cavallo, the Adelaide United midfielder who became the first openly gay male player in a top-flight competition when he came out last year. This is Jake Daniels' story. First up, Jake Daniels steps out of the closet and into the world. Remarkably, Daniels is not a seasoned professional or a player who has established himself in the game. He's just a 17-year-old playing in the second tier of English football and only recently signed his first professional contract. The Blackpool forward has talked about his experience as the first active male footballer in years to step out of the closet. Justin Fashanu was the first, and that was 32 years ago. Fashanu played on for 7 long years, but age 37, the footballer took his own life. Jake had already come out to his parents. He told his club and his teammates next before he decided to take his story out into the field for the world to see. Daniels managed to score 4 goals in a youth fixture the day right after telling his mother and sister. After all, secrets can be a burden, and the freedom to be himself off the pitch gave the footballer the freedom to express himself on it. So, why now? Daniels said that it's been quite a crazy year for him, what with being only 17 and having already signed a professional contract. He scored 30 goals this season and just recently made his first team debut in the championship, coming off the bench against Peterborough. Jake explained why, to him, now was the right time to come out. He felt like he was ready to tell people his story so they could know the real Jake Daniels. The 17-year-old said that he thought for a long time about how or when he'd do it, but there came a point where he knew he was ready to be himself and to be free and confident with it all in front of everyone. When the season started, Daniels was just a fresh face on the football field trying to prove himself as a player, and he has. But this was the one last thing in his head that he knew that he needed to do, and now it's out and people know. Now he can just live his life however he wants. Everything has happened at once, but the Brooklyn forward said it all feels right, and ever since he's opened up about who he is, he's felt incredible. Now for Jake's journey of self-discovery. Daniels said that he couldn't really put a date on it, but he was probably 5 or 6 years old when he knew he was gay. Being quiet about his identity for so long made him feel like he'd been living a lie his whole life. The footballer did have girlfriends in the past to try and make all of his friends think that he was straight, but it was just a massive cover-up. In school, people even used to ask him if he was sure he wasn't gay, and he'd always say he wasn't. Daniels explained how at that age, you don't really think that football and being gay doesn't mix. You just think that one day when you're older, you'll get a girlfriend, and that'll somehow magically flip a switch and fix everything. But as you get older, you realize it doesn't work like that. For a long time, Daniels thought that he would have to hide his truth because he'd always wanted to be a professional footballer, and now that he is one, he asked himself if he should wait until retirement to come out. The fact that no other player in the professional game was out of the closet just made him hesitate even more. But all of that aside, Daniels knew that if he wasn't honest with the world about who he was, it would lead to a long time of lying and not being able to lead the life that he wants for himself. Next, how he feels now that he's out of the closet. Since Jake Daniels came out to his family, his club, and his teammates, that period of overthinking everything and the stress that has always followed him has disappeared. It was impacting his mental health, and now the footballer says that he's just happy and confident to finally be himself. Funnily enough, Daniels first told his mom and sister who he lived with, and their response was to tell him that they already knew. After his mom and sister, the rest of the extended family was in line to be told the footballer's big secret. Jake said that at that point he was pretty scared since he didn't know how the older generation might react, but he realized he didn't have to worry. Daniels couldn't have wished for it to go any better. Relatives sent encouraging messages of support and seemed to be more than happy to be there for him. Let's discuss the overwhelming support from Blackpool. The Blackpool Football Club has been absolutely amazing to Daniels. He said that as someone who spends practically every day with them, the club made him feel safe. Jake's teammates have all been supportive about everything and made sure that he knew that they had his back. The boys have been asking him a lot of questions since they're pretty intrigued, and for Daniels, it was the best thing that he could have asked for. The 17-year-old said that he was more than happy to get it all out and for people to hear his story, so any and all questions were welcome. Of course, everyone was kind of shocked in a way, and they were asking why he didn't tell them earlier, but that too felt like a great reaction to Jake because it showed how much they cared. The captain was one of the main people Jake had told, and he also had his fair share of questions to ask, but at the end, he just told the footballer how proud he was of him, and to Daniels, that meant the world. Time for some other news. Gary Neville disagrees with Jamie Carragher's opinion on Liverpool versus Real Madrid. Real Madrid, the 13-time winners of this competition, will be a difficult opponent, having defeated Manchester City, Chelsea, and Paris Saint-Germain on their way to the final. Carragher, on the other hand, believes Los Blancos had a lot of luck in those knockout victories, in which the Spanish Giants came from behind to win those games. The pattern of those victories has been consistent, particularly in the second legs at the Santiago Bernabeu. Real started with the return fixtures poorly, conceding first and watching their opponents miss a slew of chances to steal their respective progressions at the expense of Los Blancos before Karim Benzema led the comeback charge. Next, college coaches at war over a $49 million lie. A war has broken out between two leading college football coaches coaches, encapsulating the sport's decades-long behind-closed-doors battle for supremacy and how it's all spilling out into the open due to the governing body's inability to run things properly. College football is currently in a flux as a result of the introduction of name, image, and likeness rights, which allow players who have traditionally been paid little more than their school scholarships to earn money in side jobs such as advertisements. However, the NCAA, the sport's governing body, failed to create uniform rules across the country before different states passed laws requiring nil. This has created a free market in which the opinion of some wealthy alumni of schools can effectively pay players to sign with their alma mater. Finally, Vinicius Jr.'s request to Jurgen Klopp before the Champions League final. Vinicius Jr. has told Jurgen Klopp to field his best team when Liverpool takes on Real Madrid. The Reds have the opportunity to exact revenge on the Spanish Giants in Paris after losing to them in the 2018 Championship League final. Liverpool has since won the trophy, while Real Madrid has remained in the wilderness. Los Blancos have roared back into the fold under Carlo Ancelotti, knocking out holders Chelsea and Manchester City along the way. To win the title, they must defeat the Premier League's other top 3 team, while the Reds may be missing some key players. Thiago Alcantara is in serious doubt after being substituted at halftime against Wolves on final day of the Premier League season. Mohamed Salah, Virgil van Dijk, and Fabinho have all recently suffered from injuries. Without all 4, Liverpool would be significantly weakened, giving Real Madrid a significant advantage. That would give those at the Bernabeu hope, but not Vinicius Jr., who would prefer to face a full-strength opponent rather than a diminished one. Daniels' courage shouldn't be taken lightly. Men's football has struggled to keep pace with the rest of society, and as big of a game changer it is for Daniel to step out of the closet, it's a little saddening that in 2022, the game in the UK needed a trailblazer and a teenager to bring the topic up for discussion. We believe the reaction to Daniel's announcement is significant because not only will it help the player himself, but it may also encourage others to also share their stories. What do you think? Let us know in the comments below. And that's a wrap for this video. Make sure to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this. We'll see you in the next one.